Alright, we're going to talk about the Globe Immersion blender today. Globe recommends that the Immersion blender be hung for proper storage when you're not in use. So for assembly, you want to make sure that the Immersion blender is unplugged. On the housing here, you can see two prongs that will match up to two prongs on the Immersion wand. You want to make sure, as it is sealed, make sure they're fitted tightly, and you screw this firmly to the housing of the blender. Alright, there's three activators here that we need to talk about. One is the variable speed knob. You want to make sure that this is all the way counterclockwise to the left at its lowest position prior to turning it on. There's an enable button at the top and an on-off button that's on the handle itself. Both of these need to be depressed at the same time to turn on the blender. So hit the enable, the on-off, and the blender will start. In the lowest position, because you want to make sure it doesn't splatter up before immersing into the pot. Taking your finger off the on-off button will turn it off. Having the maximum, the variable speed knob all the way counterclockwise, I depress the enable button with the on-off switch. The blender is now started. Keeping the blender at an angle, making sure not to exceed the maximum fill line, and you want to make sure and have it above the housing for proper blending. Now I can adjust the speed, since my hand is still depressed on the on switch, until I get the proper speed. Now I can blend and properly incorporate all the ingredients. Once the desired consistency is reached, I take my finger off the on-off button, the blender will shut off. Once the immersion blender comes to a complete stop, I can remove it. Note for safety, do not take the immersion blender up while it's running, because splatter will occur. Once the immersion blender has come to a complete stop, I unplug my blender. To clean and sanitize the blender, make sure the immersion blender is unplugged. You go ahead and loosen the wand from the housing and remove it. The wand assembly is dishwasher safe, and it's also hand washable, keeping note to stay away from the sharp blades that are present. To clean the wand, you can do it by hand, making sure you have a clean, damp cloth soaked in mild detergent. Wipe down the immersion blender wand, and housing can be done. To sanitize, make sure you follow the instructions on your sanitizer for proper sanitation. Also allow all these parts to dry thoroughly before reassembly.